Hey, it's Felice, totally awake, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, then welcome. Now, in today's video, I just wanted to talk about this podcast that I was listening to. I was scrolling Instagram yesterday, and I saw where Keke Palmer had posted that she had hosted a podcast on Amazon Music. So if you have Amazon Prime, it is free. I was able to go into Amazon Music and go right to her podcast. But she has one on cults. So of course that interested me. And as soon as I saw that on Instagram, I went right over to listen to the podcast. And I listened to most of it. And it was pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting. And of course, I myself, coming from the Jehovah's Witness cult, could not help but compare, the things that they were talking about to the Jehovah's Witness cult. Now, they started off by mentioning popular cults, like Heaven's Gate and some other ones too. I'll put the names on the screen. I can't think of them right now. But, all of us may know of some more popular cults. So they were naming those cults. But then they also were talking about how a lot of religions, a lot of cults are in disguise as religions, basically. And that's so true. Just like the Jehovah's Witness organization, they are indeed a cult parading around as a religion, and they are far from it. They are a dangerous, mind-controlling, toxic, abusive, blood guilty, deadly cult. Okay. And it's pretty scary. And, Jehovah's Witnesses actually get offended if you try to call their group a cult, but they check off all the boxes. Okay. When it comes to, is your group a cult? They're checking all the boxes. And if they actually took the time to think about it, they would come to the conclusion that they are in a cult if they honestly were to be honest with themselves in asking those questions when you're trying to ask yourself and figure out, are you in a cult? Be honest. Keke Palmer was asking, the people that was on with her, I believe it was her mom and then her mate, and she was just asking them, what do they think makes a group a cult? And, her husband was saying, like, if they have a leader or a group of leaders, basically that's a red flag. And, later on in the podcast, Keke Palmer was saying the same thing as well. A leader, a group of leaders, a charismatic leader, everybody is looking to them for the answers. Everybody is trusting them, and trying to please them and live by their standards, really. And that's what makes it a cult. And of course, in the Jehovah's Witness organization, we have the governing body, okay? The 8 leaders of the organization. And a lot of times, like, I remember when I was waking up from this dangerous cult and trying to explain to my mom how I was feeling and the things that I was learning, and me going as far as expressing to her, it's a cult. I've learned it's a cult. And she would get so upset and be like, if it's a cult, who's the leader? And I would have to tell her, the governing body. Okay? And, I think that some people may get caught up on thinking that if it's a cult, it's one leader. And the Jehovah's Witnesses, they honestly, probably until more recent years, they're not recognizing a human leader. They really and truly feel, and they have been indoctrinated to believe that they are following Jesus and that Jesus is their leader. And that's what just makes them so seemingly so innocent sometimes, and we feel sorry for them sometimes, because at the end of the day, they just trying to do the right thing. They just trying to follow Jesus. Even when it comes to shunning their own family that leaves or that's disfellowship, kicked out of the group for whatever sin they committed, and the elders of the congregation deemed them to be unrepentant, okay? Even them not talking to their kids is justifiable with their beliefs. To them, they are showing an act of love. They are giving loving discipline. It is a loving arrangement that individuals be disfellowshipped. To them, it is loving. It is Jehovah giving them a spanking. And everybody needs a spanking sometimes, right? You know? They really and truly believe this in their minds. That's indoctrination. That's indoctrination, because when you're shunning your family and people that you love, there's no love in that. That's far from love. When you are shunning someone, that's not loving at all. That's the opposite of love. And when you gave birth to this person, or if that person is your parents or your sibling or your best friend, your cousin, whomever, somebody that you love, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. You don't shun people that you love. We be there and love on people that we love, right? We be there for them. We're there when they need us. They can call on us. Okay? They can call us a friend, a real family member. You know, not just having a title. Because, you know, don't just have the title. Be real family. Be the definition of what family is supposed to be. But anyway, they don't do that, okay? When someone is shunned, you know, disfellowshipped. And this is what their leaders are telling them to do, to shun their kids, to not even answer the phone for them if they call. You know, even if they've been kicked out of the religion for 15 years and they call you on that 7th year, blowing you up, don't answer, is what they encourage you to do. They make production videos showing a family where a mom is rejecting the call of her daughter that's been disfellowshipped. And it goes on to explain in the video how she's been disfellowshipped for 15 years. She had been disfellowshipped for 15 years before she tried to get reinstated, which means that she has to write a letter to get back into the congregation. Okay? And the letter has to be approved. They have to approve the letter and accept her back into the congregation. I just went off on a tangent. But anyway, the podcast was very interesting, and I couldn't help but constantly compare to Jehovah's Witnesses. Another thing that my partner said is when she was like, just basically asking more stuff about how do you know it's a cult, or what makes you start to look at it like it's a cult. And he was saying once you start tilting your head, like at the teachings or the doctrine. And yeah. You know, he was referring to something else. I think he was talking about, you know, how he went with a friend and how the pastor was healing people, trying to heal people and stuff like that. And, you know, later on you saw how he was basically, you know, living lavish, and he came to the conclusion that it was fake healing. You know, he just up here taking people money and he fake healing people. So that made him tilt his head. But what about a lot of the Jehovah's Witness teachings that make us tilt our head? You know, the fact that they would let their members die refusing life-saving blood transfusions, even babies. You know, babies come into this world and they may need a life-saving blood transfusion. My daughter did. She needed several blood transfusions, okay? Life-saving blood transfusions. She was born with no blood, no oxygen. And I always talk about this on my channel, and you know I'm going to continue, all right? That's crazy, right? Who would let their child die refusing life-saving blood over a misinterpreted scripture from the Bible? Okay, when we can pull other scriptures that contradict that scripture to make us say, hey, well, Jesus would have saved an animal on the Sabbath, so why would you think that life is not more important than the representation of life? You know, just like Raymond Franz talks about, life is more important than the representation of life. Blood represents life. It's not more important. Life, the blood, the representation of life, and I hope I've been saying this right because I feel like I've just been messing it up. But the representation of life, the blood, is not more important than life, what it's representing. I mean, come on. Let's be smart. Let's not, you know, lose our lives, you know? And that's what I'm getting to. A lot of people don't think, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't think they're in a cult. And then even sometimes when they begin to wake up, think about it. For all my ex-Jehovah's Witnesses watching out there, when you begin to wake up, you really don't realize at first that you were in a cult. And then once you start to realize you were in a cult, it takes another moment to realize how dangerous it actually is. It's a dangerous cult. It's blood guilty. They let people die refusing life-saving blood transfusions. They have blood on their hands for that. They let kids get, experience CSA because there's no second witness. They require a second witness to have witnessed the crime of CSA, okay? When these parents come forth, because they don't go to the police, because in their mind, they're supposed to go to the elders because the elders got the answers and the solutions for everything in their minds, okay? So they go to the elders, and because they don't have a second witness that witnessed their child being hurt, okay, essayed, they do nothing. They do not contact the proper authorities, okay? And this is why these children have become adults, many of them, and came back and sued Watchtower, and they've won the cases because of their mishandling of these court cases. They are not calling the proper authorities on these criminals, these pedos. A lot of people will refer to it as a pedo's paradise because of the way pedos are able to get away with abuse in this organization. When are they going to have a second witness? Okay? The child isn't going to have a second witness. Pedos know not to do that. Okay? They know how to get away with things, and especially in a Jehovah's Witness group, cult, where they know that I can just do what I want, and it's going to be my word against the kids, and they're going to believe me over this kid because they don't have no second witness. How sick is that? That a cult organization is being ran still. Right now, people are Jehovah's Witnesses. And the sad thing about it is the Jehovah's Witnesses don't even realize that they have a problem. They don't even realize that they have a 2-witness rule. And then when they do, and they, because the scripture, they're getting it from Deuteronomy, but come on. We're not talking about a child being hurt. Come on, like use your common sense. Do you really think God want kids out here being hurt? And if you can conclude that from the Bible, I don't want to have nothing to do with that Bible at all. Okay? It's wrong. It's like very, very wrong. And, I was thinking about one of the things that Keke Palmer's mate was saying. I think he was talking about Applegate. Ooh, I cracked myself up. So I don't know where I got that from. I think Keke Palmer may have called him Applegate too, but I do know where I got it from actually. This is from Google. Its name was Marshall Applewhite. The name of the cult was Heaven's Gate. And okay, so actually I am right about the name Applegate. It was not only just his last name, Applewhite. The name of the cult did begin to be called Applegate. I believe that was a new cult that emerged. You guys just look it up yourselves. But what was also disturbing is that that this group practiced like abstinence, and a lot of the males in the group followed the leader by having a castration. That's crazy, right? Like, for a group to make you believe that you need to have a castration. Wow, that's deep. That's deep. But this is what cults will make people do. He was talking about how these cults, a lot of them end badly. And I think he was saying Applegate, and how they thought that this comet was gonna come past Earth, and it was going to take their souls with them, and they were going to go to this new place or whatever, something like that. Something about a comet and their souls leaving with the comet and going to this new place. So they were told to eat this pudding that was going to unalive them. Okay, this poison pudding. So after listening to the interview and then going and doing some of my own research, I found out that it was actually a poison concoction. So I'm not sure what the mixture was. Again, you guys do your own research because there's actually so much to research about these cults and, you know, what the crazy things they made people do and had people do. So do your research. It was a mass suicide because they were all trying to, you know, go with this comment because their cult leader had told them and promised them this. And so they trusted him. And so they did what he said. They ate the pudding and they all died. And the person he said that reported it, basically they had woke up, they escaped the cult. How awesome that they woke up before they took their lives. And I can't help but think about the Jehovah's Witnesses, especially when you listen to the broadcast. They have a broadcast that they do every month, which is just more indoctrination on their members, okay? And the things that they're talking about. But there's this one part on the broadcast, and Jeffrey Jackson, Garrett Loesch, he's talking about all this stuff about the truth is like a diamond. The truth is like perfume. Yeah, he actually said that. I mean, he says a whole bunch. He goes on and on and on and on talking about what the truth is like. And some of it makes no sense. Like, that's not what the truth is like. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you don't even make sense. Whose idea was it to go on and on and on and on for several minutes about what the truth is like and just saying all of these analogies? Like, you just sound dumb after a while. It's just like, are you still saying that? What are you talking about? But at the end, or in the middle, or somewhere in between, it's about at the 33 mark. And I'm going to add a clip in here. But he says the truth, you know, basically he's saying all this stuff. And then he's like, be prepared to die for the truth if need be.
Truth is like a magnet. Truth is like an oasis in the desert. Truth is like an anchor in the stormy seas. Truth is like a lifeboat on a sinking ship. Truth is like a lighthouse in the night. Truth is like a compass. Truth is like the rising sun. Truth is like the display of fireworks for beauty. Help your students to love the truth and to live the truth, but if necessary, to be willing to die for the truth and for Jehovah.
What in the Jim Jones? Come on, y'all. How is that any different? Let me tell y'all something, Jehovah's Witnesses. Y'all better be careful, okay? Because the Jehovah's Witnesses, that religion is a cult. It's a cult, just like any other cult in history, okay? They didn't end well. They didn't end well. The governing body members, let's be real. Let's be honest. They're getting old, okay? They said in their own literature, people don't live nothing to be about 70 to 80 or more by special mightiness in one magazine. I'll never forget because I remember my grandma was just like, by special mightiness. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, she was over 75 because I think the magazine was saying if you live over 75, it's by special mightiness. So she was already living by special mightiness according to that watchtower. But yeah, all of the governing body are living by special mightiness, okay? And so we can look forward to, a time in history where, you know what I'm saying, the road gonna end for them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't apply that happening to anybody. But for them 8 members, bam, bam, sorry. Ooh, let me calm down. I just was thinking about it for a second, like what? What if they was just like all on the same plane or something like that? Just them.
All right, so I probably should have cut this part out, but I'm just going to do a voiceover over it and still just probably leave it in there in the background.
But anyway,
yeah, but I was getting kind of carried away, wasn't I, here? And this was obviously recorded before I found out that there was actually 2 new governing body members added. So, Yeah, this is kind of null and void because they're going to keep this shit up just as long as we allow them, y'all. That's why we got to get together and protest. October 31st. Let's get together. Let's do something about this. They adding more and more members, but let's take them down, okay? Let them free in 2023. Protest in front of the White House, October 31st.
You know, in prison, sometimes they give people the chair because they've done so many bad things. So sometimes, you know, that punishment, you know, some people just don't agree with it at all. But then sometimes, you know, some people may agree that it is justifiable. So that's all I'm saying. That's all. I'm just talking. I ain't saying nothing about nobody. I'm just talking, y'all. I'm just saying they old. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, yeah, they may try to replace them when that time do come for them. Because they said they was gonna be raptured. Okay? They the ones that said they was gonna be raptured. They said literally that they think when they pass away, they're gonna be raptured to heaven and they're gonna start to begin to rule in heaven with Jesus because they think they Jesus brothers, okay? And they're gonna be sitting on his right hand, okay? They're gonna be sitting on his right side, his right hand man, and they're gonna be sitting on his right side and helping him rule, okay? The people that's on earth because they think it's gonna be a paradise. And yeah, but even before that time, they think they still gonna be just sitting up there ruling. I guess they think they're gonna be making sure the organization's still good while still here on this earth, on this old earth, because they supposed to be having a new earth. But they said that was coming, but it ain't came yet. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, y'all, I'm just trying to convey what I was thinking, and I know I'm kind of getting everywhere. But basically, y'all, just be careful in this Jehovah's Witness cult because, again, cults throughout history, they don't end well. Really bad stuff has happened. Mass suicides, and you just got to really be careful when you put in all of your trust in these 8 governing nobodies, okay? Governing nobodies. You have to be careful when you giving all your trust and your faith and your obedience, because they also want you to be obedient. They tell you to trust the slave like Jesus trusts the slave. Like, what proof you got, Jesus? Like, come on. Like, you is just pulling people's leg and they letting you, okay? So just don't let them pull y'all leg, y'all. They said they was just roving about. Y'all know that. I already done played some of them clips. But at the same time, they say they God's channel. So wake up, people. Wake up. Don't eat the pudding. Okay? Don't eat the pudding. And that's all I'm going to say for now. All right. It's Felice, totally awake. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right. And I'll be back with another one. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Bye.